we crawl deeper and deeper into this labyrinth. Whatever we will find, Zenith is the hopeful thing that will be here. That's ideally what we would like to find, but who knows? This is where things get interesting. This is where I get excited. It's no longer easy to know, right? It's no longer we kind of know what's going to be here. We kind of know what to expect. We kind of know who we're going to encounter. Now it's what's going to happen. Who's going to be here? Is it just going to be Zenith? Is it just going to be big old monsters that we're going to have to go against? Is there going to be somebody down here? Is there going to be people? Are things going to happen? I don't know, right? That's why it gets exciting now. So I'm very excited to see this. There's zero chance. So this is kind of how my mind is reading it. There's zero chance we go in, something happens, or we kind of decide to do something and regroup, pull back, and then come back, right? Like it's happening here. So either we're getting Zenith out of here or we're failing. It's like one or the other is kind of all I think can occur here. And it happens like in this moment at this point. Just like, I mean, consideration of so close to the end of the season, circumstances, build up, like a bunch of things kind of leading into it. That makes the most sense. So how that's going to happen, what's going to happen is what I am the most excited for, because, well, we don't really know. We have our guesses. I've made my guesses for many episodes. The episode title seems pretty fitting with what I believe my guesses would be, possibly. So we'll end up having to see. Who knows if that occurs here later, if that actually happens. But we will talk about that after the episode. So hopefully you guys enjoy. If you like it, I'll have to like and subscribe. To mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave any comments for this episode or series. Let's get going with episode 22 of Mushoku Tensei Season 2. We're too far in. We're too far in. We move out. Relying on the squad we got here. Everything we've worked towards. Flag number 99 for Paul. Flag number 99 for Paul. That's pretty so far. It's a lot nicer than I thought it was going to be. I thought we were just going to be in like this big room. And Zenith is going to be like in a crystal in the middle. Oh, she is though. Like a circular room is almost like empty. Well, this has shit in it though. Bro, what is that? A little giant like snake? He's here. I don't fault him. I don't fault him. I would too. Gotta be careful though. Don't exhaust everything you have right off the start. Alright, Paul. Good shit, Paul. Good shit. When one does one thing, the others step in. This thing just deflects everything. It doesn't look like it. Got a game plan, but you're kind of in the moment, so what? It regens? Yeah, I figured. All real enemies regen, if we're being honest. Alright, somebody's gotta calm Paul the fuck down. I understand, but brother, we don't know what to do right now. Calm down. Oh, we gotta talk this out. This is like the safe area. Alright, now what? immediate ideas, it's like we can slash the heads, we can't use magic, take all at once. Also, possibility that there's a core or something that we have to go out of our way to find would make sense. I believe you, brother. I believe you. No, you're not. Doesn't matter, brother. Why are we even questioning that? Yep. We're getting her out regardless. Right, which makes sense. The thing too is everyone handles situations and things like this entirely different and controls their emotions in certain scenarios way better than others too. But I understand the perspective on each side. Of course, too, Rudy possibly wanting to question this too, because you might risk the lives of many people in the process. You do? How did she get there too, should be the question. I just assumed she was teleported to it, which I guess still could be the case. Okay, that's cool. Better than nothing. The Grey Rat Men on the front lines. The last time I will reach out to you. You got a good support in cast, brother. Let's lock in. Rudy, Bro loses his cool and you're there to help him. Yep. But you compliment each other and give each other what you don't have, right? That's tough. Yeah. It's not even a I'm telling you to kill yourself, or it's a I believe in you. Even if you have to put yourself in harm's way, I believe you're capable of doing so. Alright, let's make a revision on our first battle. I love how I started the episode off saying there's no retreating, we're just going in, and then they retreated to game plan again. Ed 1. Yeah. At least we tested it. Yeah, so the closer you get, the harder it likely becomes at that point to be able to shield yourself. Nice. Hail! What was that, like 4 left? 5? I can't tell. Move, big man. Oh shit! They got him! Paul's so badass. I always respect the dude who don't just use magic. You just go in and say, fuck it. Roxy getting her cardio in today, huh? Damn. What is it? Did it come back? Oh, it's ripping itself apart. Flamethrower is so tough. Oh shit! Let's charge him. Huddle and put up a shield. Oh my god. Bro, he's gotta run out of steam at some point. Thank you. I'm back at it. No break for anyone. Got too confident. Settle down. Bro, locked in. What? I couldn't tell if his fucking arm came off. Or his hand. Or if it was just him pulling out all the blood. How's your arm? Ah, no, that's not looking good. What the fuck?
この魔術では失われた部位は元に戻りきらない。でも落ち着け。ヒュドラ相手に左手だけで済んだんだ。
Ah, small losses, right?
助けてくれなければ死んでいた可能性も高いだろう。
You might want to look to your right.
わかりました。父さん。父さん？
Yeah. There's more? Well, we would have ended there. Hmm. Got some rough news. I think this is such an excellent way to showcase this at the end.
お疲れ様でした。
I was gonna say dropping.
私に任せてゆっくりとお休みください。
Not sure what that was.
もしかしたらこのまま
It's probably something we gotta do. Never mind.
奥様ルーデウス様です
She
よ。
have no memory.
あれから10年近く経ったのです。
I bet she just woke up.
はい。
Yeah.
もしかして奥様
Well, happy Father's Day to everybody. Yeah, I mean that's one way to do it, to air it on that day, of course. I don't know what it is. I feel like that happens so much, like so many times, where a series will air on like a day or a holiday, or something will happen and it'll mirror what happened like in the manga, like whatever, like if a chapter came out that day or like today, that like episode and the themes and everything about it just mirror and like make so much sense and are just hilarious to like actually occur on that day. I don't know what it is and the timing and everything that works, but I love that shit like that can just happen. It's just so funny when things like that happen. Awesome episode. Fucking fantastic episode. Would I argue the most shocking of things to happen? No, it felt pretty obvious since I talked about at the beginning, you know, since the turning point occurred, that this needed to happen, and through the a million fucking flags that they gave us, they could have toned them down. They really could have. On Paul to make it a little bit more shocking, but it made sense, and it was needed. It really was. Same thing with Zenith and what happens with her. Is it shocking? Not necessarily. I was expecting just full memory. It seems she's completely reverted and lost absolutely everything. I mean, we don't know also because she could be in a fucking daze from the fact that she just woke up after Lord knows how long. So we'll have to give it some time on that. The shocking part, the most shocking thing that comes out of all of this to me is what occurred with Rudy. Was not on the cards, was not something I expected in the slightest. And this is a series too, mind you. I've been spoiled on a variety of things that have occurred, and everything that occurred in this episode was not one of them, shockingly. So that makes it pretty fucking awesome that we have a ton of things like this that still go down and occur. And also me saying all of that is not to take away from the fact of how excellent it was and how proper and fitting it was to be written in this fashion. And I think it deservingly should have been done exactly like this. And they really did ramp it up by making Rudy take harm as well in the process. So I really am appreciative of that. And I think it was done extremely excellent. And the most important thing out of all of that too is execution. Even if you make the things fairly obvious leading up to them that they're actually going to happen, like the moment Paul jumped in, it was like, well, he's gone. Like at that point, there was no like, oh, you might be okay. It's over, right? But it doesn't matter because it was executed so fucking excellent. It really was. The after scene was literally, you had all this action and all this other shit that I'm sure a ton of people are going to go crazy over and think it was great. And visually, it did. It looked excellent. But the best part of the episode was what happened after we panned to Paul. Actually, starting when we panned to Paul. That was the best part of the episode. From there all the way to the end. The decision to cut basically all noise and music and stuff kind of out and then have dialogue between characters without actually saying anything, have actual the smile and everything that came out of Paul, where regardless of what happened to him, he accomplished his duties and his goals by the end of it. All the other characters having to find these things out and deal with it, while we don't actually get to see, but it speaks very loudly to us, right? We know exactly the things that they're saying, and it hurts to actually have to see that and witness the other characters kind of go through it, and keeping the dialogue the way that it kind of was, just non-existent throughout those scenes, was really excellent. I think I got interrupted by dialogue as I was trying to say it, funny enough, but really, really fucking sharp execution there. And I absolutely love that. And then also just having the entire Zenith thing that occurs at the end, I think was really, really nailed. I think the entirety of this episode was nailed very well. From the moment we opened up or ended last episode, and once again open this episode up with the pink, like, kind of coloring that they were giving to the teleport area that we were going to, just like, it had that scary vibe. It had that feeling of unknown to it. Something about it just gave it that feeling, and it got me excited. Like, we're going to it. Like, we're going in at this point. And it really did a good job at transitioning and leading to something that was extremely intense. And it really did carry itself extremely well all the way throughout, even having high emotions and high tension in the moments where we had to pull out from the fight. And we had to regroup, and we had to talk these things out, with Paul kind of losing his mind and having to yell and not being able to be level-headed, coming at Rudy, and all the other people trying to calm each other down and trying to figure out exactly what to do next. Keeping the tension and keeping all those things built all the way through. Very excellent. Actually love that. Thought that was awesome. Going in to the turning point, or coming out more so, the initial thoughts and feelings that I had was, if something bad doesn't occur here, if Rudy doesn't suffer setback, if Rudy doesn't suffer loss, whether it's on behalf of Selphie, whether it's on behalf of the party that we're kind of going to, whether it's on his own end, which honestly was never really a consideration on my part. So I'm pretty thankful, I think, because I think that's awesome that they were even willing to go as far as they were there. But one of those two sides had to suffer some sort of loss, something relating close to Rudy, to almost make him regret his decision in a way. Of what he chose, for going against the man god's advice, for not following along and listening, as he always has, which has kind of led him to good things to occur over time. I think this made plenty of sense, right? This was a theorization that I kind of had, the idea that Paul would lose his life in the process here, and then we would end up having to get Zenith, and there's even a chance that she was not the same once she is returned. And if she even was, there's a chance that we still lose her. And all of this was kind of the idea of, if we go here, it makes sense. Because if none of that stuff happened, if we got him out of here, if Rudy was okay, if Paul was okay, even if Rudy lost a physical part of himself in this, and we were able to bring him back, and we were able to all return, and all is well with Selphie and everybody back home, and things are good, what would it be for, almost, right? That loss that Rudy suffers is absolutely nothing in the big scale of things with being able to reconnect his family and have a healthy life with everybody else together. It's absolutely nothing. So if we do that, we basically take away all meaning to what I believe in the man god for, right? We take all things away from him that actually make anything and anything, like any word that he states, hold any value. Any future prediction or direction or anything he kind of brings us to holds zero value in my mind, and it also holds zero value for anything that he's had us do in the past, in the decisions and the directions that we've gone, and he's kind of just been there to toy with and lead him in these different directions up to that point. So now we are faced in a situation after having to suffer a setback here, where we go back home and Rudy has to essentially reevaluate what happens, or just something internal where he kind of thinks things through, and he'll have to weigh his options. And I think this is the best approach to it, because now it puts him in a situation where he can kind of understand or predict almost, if I had stayed back, if they had all gone after Zenith, if they had somehow even made it up to this point, what would have occurred, right? If Rudy never got there, we're facing a scenario where it looks like Roxy was cornered and things were about to go bad and we're about to end for her. If that were to occur, he would have lost the life of tons of people, right? Everybody almost essentially in that party that goes would have been lost. And if that had occurred, then would he really be happy? Would this really have been the right choice? Which is something that really is interesting to me, right? Because it just almost makes sense now that if he hadn't been there, if he hadn't gone out of his way and done any of this, we would have lost all those people. So what exactly was the man god's other direction? What would that have brought us within happiness and everything else if we had lost family, if we had lost Roxy, if we had lost Lena. Liz probably wouldn't have made it there in time, but maybe by the time she would have made it there, then they would have actually gone in and tried to get Zenith afterwards, and things wouldn't have been successful either. If we had gone through this entire process and done all of this and lost all of them while we're not there, so they all like kind of just die out on their own while they're off screen, what would he have gained out of that? Like, what benefit would he have gotten for staying behind? Which makes me really question what exactly the motives and the direction that the man god was trying to dictate and like bring us into. I don't know, but he hasn't given us reason to doubt or anything yet. And like I said, he loses all credibility almost in everything that he says if we do go here and things don't end up turning out in a way that they actually did. So it really is interesting to kind of think about. I don't know, that's too much for my brain to think about. But once again, I think it was excellent with the way that they approached that. And I'm happy that we kind of did. Now we can turn it up a real another fucking level by us getting back and something happens where something happened and Sylvie actually had the child by the time we return, and something's wrong with the kid, or she had some sort of miscarriage or something happened, and that really would fuck Rudy completely, and he would have absolutely no like idea where to go or anything. Really interesting. I don't know. I doubt we do that though. I think they really did everything that they needed to on this part, that when he comes back, it almost feels like that might not be necessary as much or need to happen. But it would be kind of fun if they did really just torture him. Paul's immediate action. Let's go. We're going in. Fuck it. Everybody else says the same thing. It's time for us to begin this. It's time to fight as we step forward. Oh, I can watch the OP, I've been told. So I'm actually going to watch that now. And so if anybody wants to stick around for while we do that, actually, no, I'll listen to it with music. You guys won't hear the music. I'll turn it off. Also, if I was wrong and I'm not supposed to watch it till next episode, sorry, I spoiled myself. The whole family. So it spoils Norn and Aisha stuff, but I already knew about that from the key visual. I think everybody kind of already knew about that. Spoils that Roxy will be in it, who we're going against, and the fact that Rudy would actually go. Okay, so a whole turning point becomes entirely useless at that point. All build up that really leads to it. All right, makes sense why we waited till when we did, right? Definitely does. It definitely makes plenty of sense. Because it would just spoil the enemy and everything that we're kind of going against. It doesn't look like we really had any hints or anything towards death or anything of Paul either in there, which I think was good, besides the little rotating shot and stuff. But it did spoil all events and things in regarding turning point that would actually occur, which is kind of fucking lame. So it made that a little useless. But it's kind of hard, you know. I don't know how to... You'd have to be really clever, and they really would have to, which I think they did a really good job in the previous season of, but this previous season didn't have a lot of like those type of encounters and stuff that made it in a way that, I don't know, that it was easy to just kind of avoid spoilers and things that occur. So this season itself, it's like, it's hard because you have new characters coming together. You have Rudy going to a different place, like midway through. It's like, what exactly do you animate and showcase, right? I guess you could just do like a travel through time of all the people that he's kind of seen and him like kind of meeting like they did for like the first half of it. But what do you climax the visuals and stuff kind of with? So I don't know. I don't really fault them for for doing exactly as they did. I just fault it for I can't actually watch it. And I do just feel sorry for everybody who did watch it and saw the directions and stuff that we were going. But yeah, all right, episode itself again. We move a little bit forward. We see the Hydra, really fucking sick design. It looks pretty cool. I love Zenith being in the ice, which is kind of what we ended up seeing before. Her not having any knowledge or memory of any of this stuff likely is going to kind of suck, because now we're not going to have any clue of did she directly get teleported there, or was she actually just like captured by this thing, why she was in there, why it was kind of guarding her, like any of this we don't really get the answers to because she has no fucking idea. Paul immediately just says fuck it and goes completely all out, which makes sense, right? You see that thing, it's on site essentially. You see your wife, you think there's a chance that you could save her, this person that you love, you're going to go all out in that instant, which is essentially why you got so mad that Rudy wasn't. But it's just how everybody kind of handles things differently. His instinct initially was to go out of his way and fight. I love the coloring and everything on them too. it really makes it shine. Immediately find out a bunch of magic and things are not working and we need to come back. They're able to calm Paul down for a second and we all return to have a conversation in which Paul's not fucking happy at all that Rudy's trying to get him to stop. They both have valid reasons, right? We got to calm down on Rudy's perspective. We got to calm down because she's there, but what if she's dead? What if she's not alive? How do we know her condition that she's in? We don't know how to beat this thing. It's extremely dangerous. It barely fucking touched us, and Alina at least got completely destroyed there. It's like, what do we do in this situation? So we do have to calm down and take a step back and really think and evaluate what's important, because is us saving Zenith here as important as, you know, everybody losing their lives? Well, regardless, we were going to go in, and we are, because you're not going to come this far just to turn around, which I think everybody else did make an acknowledgement of at a certain point too. It's still one of those scenarios where you do have to settle yourself down. But from Paul's perspective, this is somebody that he spent years and years and years on end trying to get. This is the final missing piece that he needs to reunite all of his family and everybody together. And then to see your son, this person that you're supposed to be close with, to actually see his mother for the first time in over 10 something years now, right? Just like everyone else, even, and have zero reaction almost to it, and just kind of be chill with it, and not want to go out of his way and not want to destroy this thing that's been kind of holding her captive essentially for however long now, and not just immediately get overwhelmed with emotions is something that he can't really control or understand even from Rudy, right? And that's why they're completely on different levels of who they are as people and the way that they manage a bunch of things and do everything. It's understandable, I think, completely from his perspective. Rudy talking about his lack of attachment that he essentially has with Zenith, and she's just kind of somebody else there, especially because he struggled so much to kind of open himself up into this world and really come into exactly who he is today up to that point. So he really doesn't have that fond attachment or anything to her, because she was never really looked at as like this mother to him, in a way, more so, as he said, just somebody else that he lives with. Whereas now he can start living his life a little bit more and building his family and having her as somebody that's important that he can take care of after. But beforehand, it really wasn't exactly like that. Everybody's able to calm down. We figure that there's a way to kind of get her out and she'll be okay if we are, reassuring Paul, and we discuss the idea of what we can do. Basically, got to get up to it at point blank range. It won't be able to use its scales or anything to kind of deflect the magic and the mana and stuff that it has. It absorbs the mana itself too, and if we get close enough and we get right up on there after Paul slices through them, we're able to use our magic, our fire magic that is, to kind of blast through these things and stop, or at least really stun regeneration. It seemed like it stopped entirely, but regardless of which one it was, it would be pretty successful for it to work, and things are pretty nice. Really complimenting and being thankful for having somebody like Rudy here, and it tells him the worst thing that a person could say, which is kind of what he ends up saying: even if you have to put your life on the line, you'd do it to fucking get your mother out of here, which you understand, right? Typically it's the parent doing something like that for their kid, not the kid having to do so for their parent. So it's a funny flip, I guess, on that. Not funny at all, but just a flip essentially on that. But also to see how far and almost deranged Paul has become, and how far and determined he really is to actually do this. And it's not also a you kill yourself to save this other person. It's more of a I believe in you. I trust that you're able to do so. I trust that you're willing to push yourself to the limits to be able to do this, because I'm going to do the same. And I really want to have to believe that we're on the same exact page here, with what our goals are going to be and how much effort and everything that we're going to have to really put into this, which it seems like everybody is. We run a lot more. Really cool sequences all the way throughout. I think this is the only one I didn't like. It might have not been this one. There was one of them I didn't like, and it might have been this, where Rudy was running. He looked fucking like the legs looked huge and he looked kind of clunky, but everything else looked really fucking good to me. I have no complaints at all. Even the Hydra being in like CG, and a bunch of different frames and stuff too, looked really solid, and nothing of anger on my part at all there. I love everybody kind of coming together, seeing Roxy have to run around and heal everybody. Alina's having to come in last minute and save people and fucking block things off. Everybody really putting in the work and seeing how important it is. This blast is sick. It's fucking dope. And I love everybody just having to huddle around this. Rudy has to really, really dial in. completely losing it too. They burn one, he gets excited. Let's go, only one, we're right there. But you got a little distracted and it charged you, so Paul had to come in and fucking save you as it whips his ass all the way away. Rudy, I love him just going in and saying, fuck all that. You know, Paul just got knocked down. I got to get in there, just gouging out the eye and doing everything. But it fucking sucks up his arm until until they blow it off and he gets sent flying off with his arm kind of included. Well, you had the little shot. I don't see it here. Where did I see it? Because I saw his arm the moment it happened. Ah, right here. It was way before. Yeah, so they did rip it out. So I definitely saw it right in that exact moment. But it's nothing to him. This is one of those things I'm kind of cautious on with how they're going to handle this. I typically hate when somebody dies and you bring them back. I also hate when somebody completely loses, say, a limb and we regenerate it. So I love the note of Rudy saying, I'm unable to heal and do something like that. However, I'm very cautious and concerned that we've run into a healer within this world or somebody that knows of something or somebody that can bring his entire arm back. I'm very cautious of that because I fucking hate when we use things like this as sacrifices and as like moments that we can be like, this was like a big thing. He had to suffer a loss in the process. It doesn't matter that he loses Paul or anything else here. While that stuff's important, it's more so on his own and that he still has to carry too. And he has to carry for the rest of his life seeing here and then be able to give it back. So I'm very cautious that we're gonna do something like that just because of the phrasing almost that he used with what his own capabilities were. But we'll have to wait and see if what happens there. Right now, I love the decision. Right now, I fucking think it's awesome. But we'll have to wait a little bit. See what they actually do. But also I love him not caring to either. Fuck it. It doesn't matter. We were able to kill this thing. We're able to save her. Everything was good. And if I suffered the loss of a fucking hand in the process, who cares? Right? And I think that's awesome until he has to look down as everybody else is completely unfair and fucking Paul is destroyed. I love the decision to not let Paul be able to speak. I love the decision to not let him say anything and let his smile be everything that speaks for him, because that's all he really wanted at the end of the day, was to put us in a position where his family can become reunited. With or without him in the picture, he now essentially knows that this thing is defeated, Zenith is saved, and everybody can be together. And that's all he really fucking cared for. And that's extremely important, as we get to see. Like, that's all he is essentially wanted this entire time. Everything that he's worked towards has been reuniting everybody. It's not for his own benefit of just finding his wife, but it's just to bring everyone back together. And I think that's awesome. I love the blood going or switching up essentially as he smiles and it falling down the other side of his face and going into his eye here, and not letting him say any words or anything as everybody has to watch on, and Zenith breaks free. I love just no dialogue or anything between people. Let's just walk on through. Let's just keep some music in the background. Everybody gets excited and then has to learn the news and get to see the reaction without anybody actually saying anything. You must be tired. Take your rest and let me see to things. That's her decision here, to immediately after doing this, instead of falling and breaking like the others kind of did, while she definitely does, and it gets masked a little bit through the fog that we get to see within her glasses, is a very powerful and touching one for us to get. And having her immediately come here and realize the sacrifices that Rudy had to kind of put in to be able to do this, to stick true to his word for allowing Paul to fulfill the thing that he wanted to do as well, and bringing Zenith back here was such a big and important thing, as she realizes how much effort and how much they had to take out of him and how much this must be hurting him and everybody else too. That is the first thing that she goes and does. That's the first person she talks to, and her immediate thought is to comfort somebody else. I think is awesome. The burial that we had, him flashing back and remembering to it. I didn't know what was this exactly. So he picks that up. Is that like something that was on his sword? And then it breaks off and he realizes he can't actually keep or have a piece of him or something maybe? I don't know exactly what that part of him was, but yeah. And we go forward and Zenith wakes up and her speech is kind of fucked. Like I said, possibility of lost memories. My assumption was lost memories was going to be the case. could be a possibility of just frozen for so long that her brain just completely has like smoothened out and melted, right? And she has nothing going, like nothing in that compartment's really functioning too well right now, or possibly ever again. And we have to kind of look after her for the long haul now is also a possibility. She could have just reverted for the temporary time being because she just woke up and she's completely lost of where she is and she can't form her words or like function because she just fucking woke up after Lord knows how long. So there could be a lot at play that's kind of still out, but I'm just going to make the assumption that she definitely loses memories. I think would probably be right. And if she has to kind of start from square one, we're able to have to, take care of her and build her back up. It's going to kind of be unfortunate, but just the horror on everybody's faces we had to lose through everybody. Pretty fucking sick episode, if I do say so. I thought that was great. Far and away, in my opinion, the best episode of this core. I don't think anything else comes close personally, but I thought that was great. So hopefully you guys also enjoyed. Happy Father's Day to any of you who are a father. Happy Father's Day to Paul, 07 to the boy. And yeah, hopefully you guys will join me again next week for more Mushoku Tensei. If you liked it, all the like and subscribe, email on to me. Feel free to check out the videos and channel, make comments with this particular series. I'll be back for episode 23 next week. I hope you have a great one. Peace.